Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm just trying this out. Uh, Everybody else is doing it. I'm trying to figure out. I kind of like. I'm watching the old gangsters on the podcast. Kind of inspired me. I just live in New York City in the '70s, and I got in trouble over there, but I never got into it was fascinating the history and everything. I got sober. I got 43 years clean and sober by the grace of God. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be here, or I was facing a lot of time in prison. So, I'm driving a truck now. I got my own truck, and I started with my business and trying to keep my nose clean and all that. Relationships. I had a son. He died. Relationships aren't going too good. So, just trying to live as a senior citizen, trying to figure out what to do nowadays. It's crazy. It's all internet. I'm not stupid, so my mother was a school teacher. You learn how to do all this. My son he was severely disabled, had medical problems, and my mother was telling me, look, get the computer and look up stuff. Medical words are like 5 syllables. So I'm learning too how to fix my old truck and keep it running. I got a '68 Cadillac, trying to keep it running. Uh, you can get stuff on the internet that I look for the older car, or now the older trucks and all that, and just try to educate myself. I got 3.5 years of college in accounting. I didn't finish, becoming an alcoholic, and now I says, well, what's stopping you? There's anything you can think of on the internet. Uh, I try to challenge myself. I was looking on TikTok. There's a lot of positive stuff. There's a lot of goofy stuff, but try to challenge yourself. I'm 72 already, but you could still, challenge yourself to same way with the AA program. Challenge yourself to do something different, or challenge yourself. I find myself. I used to want to work on cars when I was in high school, but I didn't. My dad didn't really approve of me driving or whatever. He was a pen and suit guy, pen and pencil pusher. Good father. I'm lucky to have him and all that. But you're coming down to. I'm looking at some of these gangsters that it all comes back to your upbringing and your dad. If your dad, rejection and all that. I'm looking at my life. How come? I look at my nephew. He's a month younger. He's got, it's kind of the what I should have been. Now everybody's different, and I also look at some of the families that 4 out of 5 are a certain way. They're all the same, but that one, he turns out to be a drug addict or an alkie or just different or crazy or whatever. So I just looking, trying to challenge myself to get on. If you got something to say, we'll say it. Yeah, it's just, I'm telling my story. I'm watching these guys. Uh, I have a lot of guys after you get out of prison. I did some just probation, but I'm looking back, looking up information in New York State. They'll get rid of one felony and one misdemeanor. The kicker was I was looking at this information, the state of New York, and it says you have to get a hold of I forget which department or division I was in originally in New York, but it says you got to get a hold of that. I'll call around. I keep procrastinating, and I noticed my sister. Well, just forget about it. It's been a long time. Just forget it. And it says you got to write to the judge in that division and tell them why. What would be the good of them getting rid of that felony or felony and misdemeanor? So I live in Texas now. I grew up here, and I'm back to see where the roots of my alcoholism started. And it's funny, I drive a truck over the road and got too much time to think, but I'm thinking, what would I tell the judge, you know? And I says, well, it's still part of this brain up here. Well, I'm in Texas. I want to get a gun, but if you got a felony, they changed the law about 20 years ago. If you ever had a felony, so I says, well, what is it now? I really like my sister. She's 91. I says, she gets upset about it, and I says, well, let me try to figure out what is. I'm doing fine, quote unquote. I'd like to make a little more money. I had a used car sales license in L.A. 30 years ago, and a guy run up to me at the AA club there in Long Beach, and he says, you know, I had a felony. I had 9.5 years or something like that. They wouldn't give him on drug charges or something. They wouldn't give him his state issued license. They'd run a background check. They turn him down for a car salesman. Anyhow, I went the next day, and they said I was scared to death, you know, and nervous. I went with. I had a guy that I was working with. He was Ray. I forget his last name. He owned the longest bar in Chicago. You know, an old timer, Italian, Irish boxer. Anyhow, he says, "Ah, you'll be all right," because I hadn't told him. I says, "This guy," you know, I explained what happened. I went there the next day. He went with me to the motor vehicles. The lady is sitting there with a piece. You know, everybody, L.A. Everybody got guns and all that. So she says, just straight face. You know, I figured I was going to get rejected. You know, it's just, congratulations, you got accepted. Uh, I'm trying to overcome my fear of rejection or learn how to deal with it. What I'm doing lately, this last few months and all, I'll try something, trying to keep my old truck running and paperwork, this, that, and the other. And it's just, I say, hey, try it. I'm in a new era of mechanics that I don't know about. And nobody wants to talk. Everybody's busy, and you got to either get on the internet. I got my mechanic books here. I read. I look at YouTube. But with the older stuff, there's very few. You know, there's fewer and for people that work on the older stuff. You got to fill in the gaps a little bit to try to figure out and put your hands on a thing to see how something worked. The old stuff. Uh, so that's what I'm trying to do, and I try to take the idea that I said, well, we'll try it. I'm thinking about something. Let me see how to fix this. Well, we'll try it, and I get the part or something, and sometimes they give you the wrong part. You got to go back, da 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 da. And I says, well, I'm backing myself up lately with, okay, we'll try it like this, and then look up and then read the directions or whatever. Or talk to somebody, ask somebody, you know anything about this? And ultimately, I go, and if it doesn't work, because when I got the truck, that's my living, and you can't get stuck. You know, it's better to plan ahead. There's my dad and mom from I'm teenager and all. Plan it out. I hate that shit. I'm spontaneous, but I have to learn. I'm learning to think ahead, make a plan. A lot of times, I got this old truck, got almost 2 million miles. You're riding along thinking everything's okie doke. Thank you, Lord. Da 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 da. Boom, the red light comes on. You're out in the middle of nowhere. You get stuck. Now you got to get on a smartphone and look up where's there Freightliner parts or any kind of truck repair, truck parts. Otherwise, you're going to have to tow. That's going to be $200 to $600 to tow you to a repair shop. Now that's the repair is going to cost you. So Anyhow, I says to myself, well, try this. You got to start somewhere. Try this, and if that doesn't work, try something else. So I kind of expand on that. Wherever I'm going, I'm driving. The heat is, I don't have air conditioning, it's killing me. I was driving back from Atlanta last week to El Paso, Texas. And, hey, I'm beat, that heat and all that. Oh, there's a Freightliner there. I need this part. Well, let me go in and get it. But I'm tired, man. I don't feel like moving, and I'm aching all over, haven't eaten, trying to get back to the house and all this and that. So I kind of try to make myself go in there now, because when you get to El Paso on the weekend, they're going to be closed. And half the time I'm here in my hometown, they don't have the part. They got to order it. That'll take 3, 4 days. I was up in I passed by Sweetwater, Texas, and a Saturday around noon. Oh, they're open until 5. And it's a newer place, been a couple of years old. I was stopping there, needed a fuel filter because I had one and got a little rubber gasket that's got to go in the piece that the filter screws onto, the little shaft there. You need that. You're supposed to have that little rubber gasket. So I'm watching the guy. I'm tired, man, but I got a couple of bucks, so I'm asking the guy to fix it for me at the shop. I look down and I see the gasket is a little plastic around the filter. I had one from Napa. So the guy is an old timer and is a young guy. The young guy goes and gets some diesel fuel to fill up, primer the fuel filter before he put it on. I seen a guy by the front tire. He he got the filter sitting there, takes off the plastic wrapping, and I see him set the little gasket on the front tire. And I said, okay. So you feel up there and you see if there's take off the old one. Should be the old one still up there. Pull that off, put the new one on. I ain't thinking nothing. So he finished it. They charged me $50 for half an hour. It's pretty simple, but I was just tired, and I said, you do it here. Here's the money. I got a couple of bucks here, tax write-off and all that. So I says, the guy says, start it up. So I noticed the guy didn't fill it to the tippy top. There's about a half inch, not much of fuel from the top of the filter. Just screw it back in, tighten it up. You just start the motor. So I start the motor and it takes about half a minute. It usually takes about 10 seconds, not even about 7 seconds. Just put some new batteries in. The starter's still good. Starts right up. So now, okay, you got to pump the fuel pump to get that a little more fuel, push it up on into get it going here. So the next day I'm driving around. I had to go to another truck stop where they got showers. This one here was the septic tank was overflowing, and it stunk and everything else. So I went to this Petro about 10 miles down. I said, got a restaurant open, all that. So I went over there. I went to sleep, took a nap, took a shower, went to sleep. And next morning, I get up, start the motor, same thing. It's hard starting. It takes about 30 seconds. So I'm thinking, it kept doing that. I said, the batteries are good. I put them in like 2 months ago, brand new batteries. I said, it's got to be the guy might have took out when the kid was filling up the fuel filter. I didn't see that rubber gasket on the tire, and I'm watching him, and I didn't see him pull it out of his shirt pocket or out of his hand or nothing. I didn't say nothing, and it's all happening real quick. I'm tired. You can't even think half the times. Excuse me. So I figured, the guy didn't So I got another filter in the truck, but it ain't got no rubber gasket. So that's why I stopped at that Freightliner there in Sweetwater, and I asked the guy. I says, "Give me a Freightliner fuel filter. I have 1670 or something." And he showed me that it's got the gasket in there. It's kind of hidden. It's got a little piece of cardboard and then a plastic wrapping around it. Anyhow, the guy showed it to me. I told him what the problem was. I buy another. They don't sell the gaskets by themselves. It'd be 10 cents. And I'm a cheap bastard. Anyhow, hey, here's the 16 bucks. I got an extra one. I'm going to have to take off the fuel filter and check it. I think that I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But saying all that to say this, what I try to do is fix my truck what I can, and I do the injectors and adjusted the valves. Took me 13 years to get this and adjust the valves and then tighten down the. You got to hold the valve adjusting screw with a screwdriver, and then with a wrench tighten down the lock nut. And I'm pretty strong for my size and all that, but I didn't put enough pressure to come loose 3 times. It ended up costing me $7,000. But what I'm trying to do is I got it right this last year, thank God. Truck's been running good, so I started making a little money. And I says, "Oh, here we go." I did it myself. But I try to explain. Most people, most of the truckers don't want nothing to do. They won't talk to you. Or they don't want nothing to do with manual labor or mechanics. I should have gone to mechanic school, but I didn't. So the old school is learning by doing. Very few guys. I had a buddy from Pennsylvania, tough as nails, and he was doing everything and rebuilt the truck. We were talking every day. He got a newer truck trying to figure out all the sensors and the DEF and all this crap. But I told him, I said, "Jimmy, I don't want nothing to do with that shit." I'll be honest. I says, "Well, why don't you learn? Because it's not going away. It's taking over." I said, "Don't be an asshole. Just learn it." One thing with a computer, with a laptop, heavy duty for diesel laptop with a software for each Mac, or Caterpillar, Cummins, Detroit, uh, discs to go in there. It was what 3,500, $3,500 last about 5 years ago. Now it's seventh. I checked about 6 months ago. Now it's $7,000 with the special cord that goes into the 7-pin connector and all this. I says, learn this shit. Maybe you help a guy out and charge him a little bit. Whatever. But it's a special tool that comes. I got the N14. There's a special tool there to tighten the lock nut on the valves instead of holding I think you still got to hold a screwdriver, but it's got a dial gauge or a torque gauge, and tighten it down to the proper torque. But that special tool, I go to Cummins in El Paso, ask them for that. They look it up. Well, we don't have it. You got to order it. Take 5, 4, 5, 6, 7 days to get it. So I should, the next time I got a couple of bucks, go buy. I bet you $1 to a donut it's going to be 100 and a quarter, 150, $200. Do the job right. That's the problem. I do it yourself. But I save. If I save that, they want for it. They'll do it for you for $450. That was 5, 6 years ago. I just got bound and determined to learn it. And don't quit until I get it. It's not rocket science, but it does become involved. And my buddy's telling me to. He says, "Hey, just." I said, "Oh, stop right there." I said, "Don't use that word 'just' with me. You just gotta no. I said, first you gotta find a place to park a tractor and trailer. It's about 70 foot long altogether. And then if they allow you to go in the back of a truck stop, if they allow you to work on the truck, usually that's not a problem. But sometimes parking is a problem to find a parking spot for. And it's usually filthy, so if you got to get under the truck or whatever. So all this little, I tell people what truckers go through because they seem to. What you got now is all these young kids in flip flops. You got the little earbuds and the shades or the fluorescent doodads, or some of the old timers, same thing. And they don't want to get dirty. Oh, I got to talk to my wife. Oh, that's nice. Oh, the company pays for everything. Well, that's lovely. On a CB, the last time I got off the CB about 6 years ago, these guys, yeah, well, company drivers make 1,000 a week, and then it was 1,200 a week. Well, I was doing that with JB Hunt, and I started going up. This last year, I got an old trailer in '98. I got to fix the floor on it. Fucking tires. I like doing mechanical work or having it done if I'm not exhausted. So I mean, I go out for a month or 2 or 3 months. You just get worn down. But and you look at your bank account, and you got 5, 6, 7 grand. You go, hey, let me go in there and get a $400 oil change or $500 oil change. What the heck, you know? Yeah, I had a blowout going to Denver 2 weeks ago. It was $485 for a new tire. It took 2 hours to get it changed out. Da, 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 it's not fun, but thank God I got a credit card now, and I did it. Had it done. I get 3 nails and another tire. I had to go look for a place when I left Denver. I'm down almost to New Mexico. On and on. Guy charged me 100 and a quarter. Guy puts a plug in one, puts a patch on the other one. Marine Corps guy, and you got to pay him, But I didn't have to do. I mean, that's a lot of work. Plus, you need the equipment. This guy pulls up in a 2020 Dodge heavy duty utility truck with a $5,000-6,000 welder and an air compressor and all this other stuff. He pulls up next to the truck, and this guy's strong as hell. The younger guy is strong as hell. He's doing the work. Not and I were talking bullshit a little bit. And then the boss man, he got a beautiful garage, put about 6 trucks in there, been there for a while, and his wife's in there, whatever. A yard, he got 10, 15 trucks out there. He's got an old 1958 Kenworth. That's the kind of stuff I like. And then I learned where there's another repair place. I usually try to stop around. There's Trinidad, Colorado, and they got a Walmart. I went over to Walmart, took a nap, and I got something to eat. So I just tell people what you go through. Like I say, most of these guys are young and they don't speak English. They're going 70 miles an hour trying to. The California guys, I ask them, I says, oh, they got a 6, 7, $800,000 house. They got to make payments. A wife and 2 kids. And they come home 2 or 3 days a month. I tell them, hey, that's not a dad. You need to stay at home or drive locally. But there's something about. I used to hitchhike since I was a teenager, and I loved. When I was in my 20s, I'd hitchhike all over the United States. Went to Europe. I hitchhiked over there. I like to travel. To me, right now, it's a blessing that I'm getting paid enough to keep going. And like right now, the weather is going to start cooling down. It's beautiful. You go out over the Rockies or whatever, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful. You get to see the landscape, the mountains, all that. I go back east to usually pay a couple bucks extra, but it's just like the traffic is like this. And I get, I said, I do it, make my money, come back, get the truck fixed, whatever. But So I was just going to try to talk a little bit. It's already 25 minutes. I guess I'm okay. I just want to do this just for the heck of it and see what's going on. And kind of, an outlet. I get tired. I get bored. I'm at the house. I get bored. And it's fascinating with this. I'm looking at these New York gangsters. I'm going, why don't you get on there? What do you got to worry about? Just to talk, tell a story, whatever. Now, that's all. I just thought I'd kick this out here today, try it, and start to learn how to play stocks on the stock market. I used to work down Wall Street, but I'm drinking, chasing the girls, Now, like I was talking to a guy the other day, he says, I never believe you get old, but now you're there, and thinking I need some more money, side hustle or whatever. And my family's like, I'm like the black sheep of the family. And I says, hey, they ain't gonna help you with shit, like so. I said, well, learn this. My sister does encourage me a little bit. I've been looking at the stock market for a year and just keep looking at what it do. I'm looking at American Airlines. It's up and down and started to raise assets, but just I'm bouncing over here and there, and there, boom, boom. I lost $3,000 last year. And I said, well, let's go back to American Airlines and stay with it. Do your 3 trades a week. And I'm making like $40. No big deal, $40 a week, but that's 160 extra a month. And I get so tempted to try put $1,000 in. I was looking at the YouTube videos last night, and some of them said, "Well, you're better off with 500 to 1,000." So I was looking at some other stocks I got, and I says, "Well, let's see. Number one, can I afford it?" And look and see the percentage rate when they're going up. As I noticed, the charts are different for different stocks. One of them would go up like this morning, American Airlines pre-market. It was going up a penny. Every line was like a penny. And I said, well, look, it jumped when I first looked at the chart. I said, oh, look at it, it jumped up. I said, oh, yeah, it jumped up 3 cents. Okay, well, you know, I'm looking at CRM and it's going up. I'm looking, what was it, CRM and something else I was looking at, but that's twice as much as this other one I was looking at. The percentage of profit. I do the options. So I says, well, it's better. They're going for about the same price, but this one's paying off basically twice as much for the same amount of money, generally speaking, basically. So I says, well, if you want Monday, let's see what it's going to do tomorrow. And then Monday, maybe put 500 down and, see if you could make 100 instead of 40. But I was also feeling at this time of year, I get excitable. And I says, nah, you don't let that emotion here. Let me transfer some money out of the bank account. It's like, dude, just keep going consistently. That's what my mother always told me. Little by little, and save it, and keep learning. Once you learn how, but you gotta try also now and then. Take take a little risk. Get out of your comfort zone. I notice I go back to the same thing. Dude, it's the same thing. You got this down like American Airlines, generally speaking, is goes up 40, 50 cents a day max. It went up last week like a dollar 10. I'm looking at it like, whoa, man. And then it crashed like Monday, that Chinese property real estate thing took a dive. Monday was horrible. So then this girl I'm watching on YouTube, she says, oh, I lost $5,000. She's been doing it for a while. She says, but then the next day I make 10 or 20,000. Yeah, there it is. So just I'm trying to keep calm and just learn. I get impatient. I'm only human, but I got everything I need. I got cigarettes. I start buying a couple extra packs, and I say, hey, you know what? Shit is killing you, but you still, but you got to do something. Say I don't do drugs or alcohol no more. Doctors over here, you got to quit. I do about 10 or 12 cigarettes a day. I got to do something. And oh, you need a hearing aid, $2,000. Give me the, that's it. I'll tell him he's 55. He already had a stroke. I'm 72. I said, hey, Doc, you want to come out here and drive the truck for 2 or 3 months at a time and tell me you ain't doing something? And I look at a lot of the other drivers. I said, oh, my. I go home every weekend. I go home every 2 weeks. Well, I'm single. When I come to the house, I got my dad's 1927 house. Needs everything. It was a rental. Needs everything. And then my car's not running. So if I want to go to Home Depot and then they don't deliver, I don't think. I got to call Walmart to deliver some groceries and let me see what I can do. I need tools. They got an Ace Hardware down the street. About 4 years ago, they opened it up. Go get some tools. The weeds been raining a lot. The weeds are up to your neck over here. Idiot next across the alley calls the cops on me. So I had to go out and get a weed eater. I says, let me, and I try not to get an attitude against this guy. We butted heads a couple of times. Some people don't like New Yorkers. I got a little bit of hair. Some people trip on that. Or I'm old. They don't, maybe I'm making them look bad or something. I don't know. I'm half Mexican. I can speak slowly, articulately Spanish, but the local dialect, I can't understand that. No, you don't speak Spanish? Well, sí, poquito, pero despacio. Oh, you speak a Spanish. Oh, you speak a good Spanish. Yeah, well, we're in America, asshole. Why don't you speak a little English? I have to practice. If I didn't speak Spanish for years. I came back, just practice it. Why don't you do the same? You come over from Chihuahua, like 200 miles away. Now you come over with money and a friggin' attitude. So I try to convey that message because that's just the way I am. I don't. It's not the immigrants; it's the friggin' attitude. And then, in case you haven't noticed, this country, I try to stay out of the big cities. I love big cities. Not anymore though, because like I say, the East Coast. I love it on the East Coast, but there's so much traffic. And you look over and half the world's from over here. They don't speak English. They got a CDL and they go with these corporate companies will hire anybody. And they look down at you. It's like, hey, fuck you. I'm born and raised here, and it gets political, but uh, sometimes you get some of these guys that are. We were having a problem a few years back with Iran, and this guy was Iranian. I put a thermostat. Had to learn. Cummins has two. It was overheating the truck. I'm out in Phoenix. It's just 115 degrees, and I got a couple of bucks. I go get a couple of thermos, $40 each, whatever. This guy's parked next to me over there at the pilot, and I start bullshit. He comes over. You need any help? The guy helped me for 2 days, basically. And he gave me some sweet bread, like what they eat in Iran, and a Coke. Smoke a couple of cigarettes and bullshit. He said, that's what I like. And he was telling me how he struggled when he came over here. And his sister, he had to learn English. And, but that's a beautiful guy. Politics is, the way it's presented. They got nukes. They want to kill us. That's politics. This guy here was for real. And, he just, I guess, took pity on me or something, but he helped me. Now, you ask an American trucker, military included, I'm going to tell you the truth. Some of the military guys, they got the worst friggin' attitudes I don't want to start an argument with everybody. Hey, motherfucker, don't forget something. That shiny new truck with the American flag and picture of Batman on there and all that shit. It's not your truck. Let's talk business or mechanics, but they don't want to do that. It's not the way it is anymore. I talk to old timers, Marine Corps guy, 35 years working on his old truck. He sat there and talked to me and this other jerk off from Colorado. He's getting his ISX motor rebuilt. We were talking. He's asking so many. The guy was annoying. He's like 40 years old. He's asking a question every 2 seconds. But the guy was nice enough to set him straight. It's not that hard, but he was kind enough to give his time and explain mechanical stuff inside the motor. And the guy says, "Well, I got a picture here. They shaved that. They took off the heads and the block. They shaved the top. Well, they get all the old gasket off the top." And he showed him a picture of it. And I says, "Well, isn't it supposed to be perfectly clean? There's a little tiny bit of gasket here and there. And these Mexican guys, they did, I'm going to say 97% good job." I don't know. This guy got $1 million, anyhow. So the guy says, "Nah, that's good enough." And it turns out I talked to this guy for about 4 months after he got finished. His truck running beautiful. So that tells me they know what they're doing on the ISX. Now I got an older truck where the younger guys are not familiar with it. So I went in there and I was talking to the ladies in the office, and they're acting all. They got the kid there, and they're like, "Oh, yo hablo," you know. Manuel got to come over in a minute, and tell him. They're acting like they don't know what's going on. I want somebody that's reputable. Give me an estimate. I got almost 2 million miles. At some point, you're going to have to overhaul the motor. Now you're talking 10 grand, 7 to 10 grand. It's not just that. Do they know what they're doing? Are they going to guarantee the work? Otherwise, you're fucked, or you end up paying twice, and it's going to take 2 or 3 weeks. That's why I'm trying to plan ahead. And then, and my brother died. My brother-in-law died at 88 and 91. Supposedly they got the coronavirus. I don't know if they took the shots. It was about 4 months ago. And I'm talking to the family, my dysfunctional family. Hello. Okay, we talked enough. God bless you. God bless me. You got any money? You're going to help me. Oh, I want to help you out. I hate to ask, but I said, hey, in reality, what helps me more than cash money actually sometimes is knowledge, or what to do with my car, or what to look for. To me, that's worth a ton, you know. But they're not. They're all suit and tie lawyers, and it's like talking to them is like pulling teeth. Anyhow, so I do what I got to do, and then I pray a lot. So uh, I got 10 acres out in Pecos, Texas, but they started with fracking with the methane wells burning. I'm 72. I think if I go over there and live over there for 2 or 3 years, I probably catch cancer. It's invisible. You can't, but it's just 32 of them. They're going 24 hours a day, big time. They told me about 3 years ago, they said people are already catching cancer over there. So I don't want to fix my truck that bad. If I go over there for a day or two, I guess I'll be all right, 2 or 3 times a year, something like that. But it's a pain in the rear, man. Just try to find a place to work on your stuff. I'm in a residential neighborhood, and I says, "Oh, you got to have your car parked on cement." I got my dad's old rental. There's dirt in the backyard. I'm like, what the? Talking to I call up the city and a contractor. You put 8 by 20 cement down. That's no permit required, 8 by 20 minimum. I call the contract. This guy's 81. He comes over in a $60,000 pickup truck. Oh, it's $3,000 for 4.5 cubic feet of cement minimum plus labor. I says, you know what? I get my Cadillac running. I go to Home Depot, load up some bags of cement, and do it little by little. Just your back, I was like, thinking, man, try to do maybe a quarter one weekend, or a couple of months later, put another quarter on there, and then do it. That's all I can do. I'm not 22 no more. Ain't nobody want to do nothing out here for the charging like an arm and a leg. These Americanized immigrants. That's what I don't like. Of course, I can't say this on Facebook because they've already thrown me off twice. I said potato like last year, potato, something. The guy made a reference to Al Gore or something. I said something, I just put potato, potato. Boom, you're going against community guys. Just crazy. That reminds me why I want to see. I like to express my opinion, and I'm going to see if they don't block me on this here. I don't see nothing wrong with doing what I'm doing, and if I am, because nobody wants to talk in person, if I offend you, or we used to talk every night in New York. I had 4 or 5 guys after work. We walking and talking, drinking, chasing girls, smoking cigarettes, panhandling, had a ball. I guess they cracked down. Now it's all the millenniums with the high-rise glass buildings paying $4,000 a month and up, for an apartment. I'm sorry, that's not. I just want to say to them is just have a little respect for the old school, the old people. If they do, if they don't. But it used to be New York in the 70s was cheap. I lived in LA. It was cheap. People talk. I go to AA club. It's all the gays have taken over. It's all drug addicts. And you got to have the tribal tattoos. Otherwise, you're not one of us. So I'm sitting there with my thumb up my ass. I got 43 years by the grace of God, but they don't want to hear it because I don't have the tribal tattoos. What the fuck, man? That's fine, but they're not. I realize, that they're not alkies. It's a different. I was over there a couple of Thanksgiving ago in Weatherford, Texas, Mafia headquarters #2. I'm sitting in there watching the TV for a minute. This old timer, he was an alcoholic. I think he was sober for a few years, but he was about the same age, 70s. He was 67, I think, 68. He was a year or two apart. We sat there and bullshitted for a while. Went out and smoked a cigarette, killing some time. Line was out the door after they had the buffets going. And finally, in the afternoon, we're waiting for this. Man, he says, "Come on, let's go eat." Yeah, let's go eat, man. We get in line. We go there, get a booth, sit in that booth. Turkey, salad, soup, whatever you want, So at the end of the meal, he ends up saying, "Yeah, I got it. I appreciate it. 12 was $16 that day or something. I appreciate it." But you could talk to somebody at a truck stop. I had guys when I first started, I'm dead broke. I got my disabled son with me. I had one guy out in California, Northern California, we're going to Wyoming or something. Bullshit. He was from South America, a young guy, but I stopped after about 3 or 4 hours. I pulled into this other truck stop, old Western type. Stop in there, grab a coffee, go to the restroom real quick, whatever. There's a guy again, so I go to another truck stop. How you doing? I said, I guess you go the same way. So he stopped together at the same place. So I'm dinner time. I go in there and say, "Hey, let's get something to eat." He paid, he was nice. But These guys will just look at you, they look down at you, they're in a hurry. You got to play that. Let me open the door for you. No, let me open the door for you. Oh, let me open the door for you. No, oh, come on, man. You know, that's just, does it, let's sit down and have a cup of coffee and bullshit. Let's have a smoke a cigarette out here. You know, yeah. What I'm trying to say is, if I can make it, you can make it. If there's anything you need, if I can help you with my experience in any way, I've been driving out there for 15 years. Like I'm out there about 9.5, 10 months a year, and I work on my truck and all that. But no big deal. But it's about helping other people. But it's like, oh, I don't need your help. I got a brand new tractor and trailer, and if I have any problems, I just call my boss. Oh, I got to talk to my wife. Bye. Oh, I don't smoke. Bye. It's like, fuck you. Oh, okay. That's a lot of old timers quit, and the old timers you got out there too. I don't care if you don't like it, man. You guys, when's the last time you got out the truck? Did a little anything, wrenching on it. I had to change a mud flap the other day. I took it out, got my little tools out, and I was done in half an hour. Two guys next to me, they laughing and joking. I'm like, got the cross on here. I said, okay, right. You can't actually, you're sitting right next to each other. You can't say down south, it's just, need any help, or what are you doing, or whatever, man. But it's just like when you're too clean, I look at you like, if you're that clean, why don't you go in an office or something? That's that's. But that's just me, I talk to my niece, and they're all, they I get, I screwed up 43 years ago. I guess I'm still, you know, once you screw up, you're marked for life or something. I don't know. There's no forgiveness, but yet they're walk on water on Sunday Christians. So, well, my AA program tells me I got to accept people as they are. Maybe I hurt them worse than I thought I did, or whatever. My brother says, well, we expected more of you. I said, well, maybe you had my mother says, well, your brother's an engineer. He's older. And I looked it up on the internet. There's like 10 or 12 different types of engineers. Mechanical engineer. Hey, I'm not exactly like you. I took a biology class in the 60s in high school. It says if you got 4 kids, 3 of them are all similar, and the last one's like an oddball. I'm looking at Dan Marino on the internet a few years ago. He's a perfect specimen of a man, and then his wife. And I think he got 3 kids. The fourth one, they're holding up the little one, holding up, kids looking out to space, I says, there it is. But it tells you that, but you can't judge everybody the same. I had my son come out severely disabled, and she was using drugs on the second month. That didn't help. And that was kind of the end of our relationship. I took care of him for 17 years by myself. So I know about money and working. He was 220 pounds by the time he was 17, and lifting him up in the truck when I first started, and his wheelchair. This guy comes over after I'm done, and he says, oh, hey, you need any help, man? I was looking at you, just sitting on the steps. I was looking at you, and I thought, oh, then I seen you had your son with you. Yeah, okay. Well, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? You know, I've had the cops in Chicago. They stopped me. This is the kid's got to go to the dentist. You got an appointment. Well, you're going to deadhead 900 miles. Yeah, I got to get to El Paso. The kid's got an appointment in 2 days. We've missed the first two appointments. I got to go. He's got cavities now. Got to take care of it, whether you like it or not. Medicare card, whatever, Medicaid. Well, most guys bitch and complain if they got a deadhead. 100. You're not listening to me, stupid. Six. What do you have? Four squad cars, six officers, something like that. Do you mind? Because I got Texas plates and I got a Hispanic last name. It's actually German, but you mind taking the kid? I said the kid can't stand up. Well, we need to get in there to check for drugs. Are you kidding me, man? Sure, officer. Sure. Take him down, standing next to the squad car. This guy's sitting there. So the kid, in like 20 seconds, his legs are shaking, wobbling, and I go, "Excuse me, officer, can my son sit in the back seat while these gentlemen are looking through my truck?" "Oh yeah, yeah, sure, yeah." So I open the door. Not on. Hey, I had to call the Tennessee, man. They think they got a drug smuggler. I got to call the state on that department. "What do you want us to do?" I says, "Look, I'm an old guy. I'm born and raised in El Paso. Used to be an all-American city. Da da da. I'm an old working guy. Is that too much to comprehend?" I guess it is, because you know. So anyhow, I said, just tell them when you train the officer. We're up there outside Memphis. They're looking for. Why don't you go become a border patrol in Texas or something? You'd be right on the border. Wouldn't that? You know, I'll tell them too. I'll tell them in a nice way. I says, listen, if you if you're looking for drugs, a lot of drugs and a lot of money, I'd go down into Mexico. That shut them up quick. Military, otherwise. You got all these John Wayne types. I said, yeah. Once you go on down to, they killed 15,000 people on the other side of the border in El Paso like 10 years ago. Never heard about it once on a TV. It's not the old days. Go to Juarez, get drunk, they got the high school kids out of there. They don't let the military, the cartel ain't playing. So uh, I just get fed up sometimes with the machismo, is the alpha male. And believe me, I used to be, I still am. I try to not be obnoxiously macho. Try to be a little more understanding. Try to, not everybody's got legs. Not everybody's got. Be grateful for what you got. Not everybody's got arms. They're missing arms. And I seen a guy over there in Weatherford. He comes out one late at night, about 11. He's parked there by the Christian chapel, and he comes out with one. He's got one leg and two crutches. He got a flatbed, and he sees me. I was walking to the truck or from the truck, and he says, "Oh, am I blocking you?" It's concern for another person. No, 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 no. You're good. You're good right there, bro. And I'm looking at this guy. Got one leg. What the fuck? A nice guy, beautiful guy. That's what I say. When you don't speak English or communicate in a friendly way, I get anywhere around El Paso. All of a sudden, I see Mexicanos, these Mexican guys are sitting there by the truck, like, who are you? No, no, that's not who am I, man. I'm born and raised over here. This is my turf. Uh, born in 1949. My dad came over in 1920 something. He was an immigrant, but been here for a while. To me, you call it a pecking order. We were here first. If you act like a human being, whatever. But when you're standing there like acting, looking down at the rest of the world, and I come along, it's like, well, what's your problem, man? And I try to explain to them in English or Spanish. And then, we didn't know, we didn't know. Yeah, right. You already condemn me, your Catholic upbringing and all that, yeah. But I see, by the way, sold white-haired raghead, man. I'm getting a repair. I had an air hose. There's two bolts in there. The guy was fixing it for me. I had to make an air hose with the fittings on the end. This guy's in such a hurry. You're from India, motherfucker. Wait, what? And the guy's working on. It's going to take 10 minutes max. I've been there all night. Had to wait till the morning to go get a hose. First thing in the morning, 8 o'clock. 7:30, 8:30. I'm barely. I said, I'm going to use the bathroom, get a coffee, and this. I'm stuck. You need to, however long it takes. You got to do it. Oh, here comes Hotshot with a California plate. Where's these guys? I need my tail light, my tail light. So I seen he's got white hair and a white beard. I got respect for age, probably 2 years younger than me. But I says, hey, the guy's just had a road call and then he got to go get an air hose from my truck. It won't take long. I should be back in half an hour. Oh, okay. So he's back, nervous as the guy comes back. He's putting the thing on my, well, here comes Mohammed. I got a tail light. Hey, excuse me, man. Excuse me, man. Let the man finish. I already told you what's going on. Why don't you just be cool? You haven't said two words to me other than where's the mechanic? I gotta go. I gotta fuck you. Why don't you go back to India? You know, you're gonna act like a total asshole. So anyhow, I got out of there. But I mean, you see that all the time, And I tell people there too, like I guess what they're talking about on the news today with open borders. Well, the Democrats believe, oh yeah, that's open society, open borders. Oh yeah. George Soros, yeah. Google it. Open society, blah blah blah. George Soros. Oh, okay. Yeah, where were these people getting the money to come up from Haiti and they shoot down to Colombia and then come up and that, all the way. Mexico's a long ways from Central America. Where are they getting the money? And then the journalists, what is the get on Facebook, man? Look at conspiracy, look at socialism, Marxism. Somebody's going to come out with a YouTube video with talking about it in depth, in detail. And I look at it just to try to understand what is going on or what is possibly going on because it makes no sense. I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life. I never paid much attention to. They don't like Trump because he wasn't a politician. So he says, "Well, the swamp." When I first started, I didn't realize how deep the swamp. Yeah, you start looking at illegal stuff, trafficking, drugs, pedophilia, all this heavy duty stuff by people that got money. There's your answer. Now, how do you stop it? I don't really have answers. I would line people up and shoot them, really, if they're a pedophile or something. But this is America. Let's pat them on the head and give them 5 months in prison and recovery program and all this after, there's safeguards in place, but if they're not being enforced, like this immigration policy is not being enforced. So they're coming over, they got 15, 17,000 people over there living under the bridge. Beautiful. Defecating. The 30 women give birth under the bridge this last weekend. Beautiful. So the kid automatically becomes an American citizen. Is it, you really want to see the American dream? Let me show you the American dream. Let me show you. Let's go to downtown LA where some of these Americans have little mental issues. There's programs that used to be. Reagan shut down the nut houses and a lot of them end up at AA meetings that are not really alcoholics. But you get free cookies and coffee, and nobody throws you out. Somebody's going to put you up on a couch or give you a little bit of work or something. So, but it's these elite. They're going to have the lobster and steak tonight, and they're wearing the tuxedos and the. I loved Hollywood. I was over there. I was trying to become a actor, whatever, rock and roll star, whatever. It's a lot of fun when you're young. But then now you can kind of see the hypocrisy. Like Nancy Pelosi, she was good looking, like 35 years. I'm like, well, they ain't a bad looking lady. Look, her and her husband live in this it's a 2.2 million, $3.4 million mansion, whatever, with a fence around it, whatever. But they want to tell you how to live your life. I just do this for a little entertain and challenge myself, express myself. But I just go back to work. It's no use talking about it. It's no use. Shut off the smartphone, shut off Facebook, shut off everything. Go to work. Make that money and just get your groceries, pay your bills, buy some new T-shirts, buy a new pair of socks. You want to see the American dream? Uh, the first thing I'm going to say is that if you're an old person or military or disabled or have mental issues, you're on the street. Look at some of these people. I walk outside the house and I thank God I see every time I come to the house for a week or two, there's somebody by Walgreens panhandling. It breaks my heart. I try not to think about it. Here's a cigarette, here's $1, but it's just a 25, 30, 40-year-old, black, white, brown, whatever. Something ain't right. I try to. I know in LA you got drug recovery, alcohol. I was seeing the way I was in LA in the 80s and same way in New York in the 70s. They get you housed. You're going to have to wait, but they get you housing and send you to learn welding or mechanics or something you can make a living at, like a career, learn a trade, and then go from there. McDonnell Douglas over there by Long Beach, they used to fucking drug addicts. They lay off drugs for a couple of weeks, pass the drug test, they get in there, boom. And they're making some good money, union and all that. Well, what I've seen happen a bunch of times is they get hired and they're doing good. As soon as they start making money, here comes the girl. Well, hey, I got a girlfriend. You've been working a month. Oh, you got a girlfriend? Oh, that's great. Yeah, you're making money now. Oh, we got an apartment over here. Oh, okay. She's working too. Oh, okay, great. But the drug addicts, another month or two, it's like back sitting on the couch getting a 25-cent coffee. What happened, man? Ain't you working today? Oh man, I got laid off. Okay, whatever. Man. Take it easy, pal. God bless you. You were riding so high and coming in and hey, look what I got. Yeah. You got car payments, a house payment. But like I say, they got rehab programs they didn't used to. I remember when I sobered up in New York, I was crying, man. He said upstate New York, they didn't have any programs back in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. You sober up or die, you know. And it didn't dawn on me till after I had a few years and seen thousands of people, whatnot. That helps. My son, I couldn't have done it without the government. I can't. I'm trying not to be a hypocrite, but this Medicare, I was going to get hearing aids, and I wrote it down. I made an appointment a couple of months ago to August, at the end of August. I wrote it down for the 10th, August 10th. So I get a Uber cab to go up there, and the lady says, "Oh, I'm sorry, your appointment's on the 17th." No, it's not on the 17th. I wrote it down right. I'm not an imbecile. I'm not a old, decrepit, helpless imbecile. And that's what she's got in front of her. I said, "Ma'am," I said, "I made an appointment." Well, let's make another appointment. Okay, 2 weeks later. Okay, I've been at the house for a month already. I was getting my trailer fixed, resting, taking care of business. Now I got to get back to work. So I go to Sam's Club. I got paid $2,000 financing for some hearing aids. The doctor don't want to let me go. Like I say, he's 55. The Medicare guy told me he already had a stroke. But that authoritative, I'm a doctor. You got to do what I say. You know, at the federal government, a doctor's got to register with them. So the liability with the lawyers, oh my God, God help us all. So I said, well, just play the game. I'm making payments. First time in my life I had credit. So I said, well, learn how to deal with it. You got a little time, put it on the credit card, down payment. And that's all you can do. And just hope for the best. I'm hoping like right now with by Christmas, I'll be able to take a month off. It's going to be freezing out there. So that's all I can do. If I can help somebody, and you're helping me being out there, and if anybody's listening, I appreciate it. I'm stuck over here in that AA club that you got over here. I don't know. Times you're better off alone, but I got a couple of people I talk to, old friends, but they're out there. But I just know them a long time, so just how you doing? What's up? I don't know. Oh well, let me find the off button here and give me a like or whatever. That'd be nice. God bless everybody.